What is going on, fellow athletes? Blaze over here at Blue Chip Athletic Club, and today we're talking core stability and mobility as we get going. So a couple of pieces of equipment that you are going to need. You're going to need a dumbbell. I want this one to be relatively heavy for the work that we're going to be doing today. So if you walk over to a dumbbell rack and you're like, oh, you usually pick up a 25 or a 30, let's try and step that up 5-10 pounds for this working set today. Next thing that you're going to need, some sort of an elevated surface. You can have a bench. You can have a Basu ball here, which is, I'll demo kind of our movements on both both pieces of equipment, and then we'll get this thing rolling. So first things first, we're going to get into our mobility warm-up. We're going to work 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. We'll just go through one time through the whole set, and we're going to start off with a deep squat hold or Asian squat. So to get down into this movement, you're basically just going to have your legs around shoulder width apart, and you're going to squat down and try and get as low as you can. If you're like me and you got really tight ankles, my heels want to come up off the ground as I get kind of tight, especially when I don't have a load on my back or kind of in between my legs to keep me steady. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of shimmy my feet a little bit wider until I can try and get my heels on the ground and I'm kind of stable. If you get to this position and you want to fall backwards or your heels are still off the ground, what you can do is you can grab your weight and use it kind of as a counterbalance. So I would just hold my weight here in my hands as I kind of just sit, and I'm just going to sit in this position here for about 45 seconds. If you want to, you can kind of shimmy back and forth, get yourself a little bit loose. I like to drive my elbows here into my inner thigh, and that's going to help me kind of warm up the legs. Sometimes I'll throw a couple squat to stands in there as I kind of floss through, and you'll work Asian squat or deep squat hold for about 45 seconds. You'll take 15 seconds to rest. Ooh, wipe your face off because you're sweaty, probably like me, right away. And then we're going to get into our next movement, which is going to be our T push-up. Let me move this ball out of the way so you can see. So you're going to get down here into kind of your up push-up position. We'll be just doing a push-up down to the ground and then up, just like normal. And then what I want to do is I'm going to pick up my right hand, turn, drop my heels down to the side, look up at my right hand, and then return back to neutral. Another push-up, drop my heels down to the other side, left hand comes up, and then back down to neutral. If you need to scale this, it's okay if you go negative push-up. So down nice and easy. Here, plant your knees, and then pop up, and then plant your feet, pop up for the twist. That's kind of how you can build into being able to do push-ups more regularly and without as much friction, if you will. So after your T push-ups, you'll take 15 seconds to rest. We're going to get into our T-spine and lower back opener, which is going to be our alternating scorpion. To get into this, I'm going to pop this microphone off, otherwise I'll probably eat it. You're going to pop down onto your stomach. Your hands are going to go out to the side. And then what you're going to do is I'm going to pick up my right leg and then try and bring it all the way over to touch my left hand. Oh, little back crack there. And then I'll just hold for a hot second, and then I'm going to switch sides. Hopefully I can get up over this dumbbell. We'll see. Yep, and then touch the other way. And then you'll basically just floss side to side at your own pace for all 45 seconds of work. Now be aware, you may not be able to touch your hand. That's totally okay. Its biggest thing is that you can kind of notice the imbalances. You can notice side to side whether you're tight, or you can start to notice, hey, I'm starting to develop, I'm starting to gain range of motion, or hey, maybe this is something that I need to work on. Mobility is always going to be telling you something about your body that you may or may not already know, so just pay attention to those things. Next thing we're going to get into is our passive figure 4. This is really helpful. Put this back on here. This is really helpful if you have access to something that's really sturdy, so like a wall, some sort of a feature like that. And the way you get into it is you lay down onto your back. Let me pull this box over so we can kind of demo. So you'll lay it onto your back. Your wall is going to be here kind of in front of you. I'm going to stack my left foot on top of my right knee, and then I'm just going to slide my right leg down, my wall, and I'm going to be here in this passive figure 4 position. Super comfortable. I can kind of rock side to side If the stretch isn't enough for you, that means you need to bring your foot further down the wall, which gets you more into the stretch, or your butt needs to be closer to the wall, which will help you push that working leg over. Sometimes I like to take my hand and my right hand, if my, right foot's on the wall, right hand going to the right or left foot. Oh my gosh, I can't tell my right from my left today. My left hand going onto my left knee, and I'll kind of push and pull. Oh, baby. And then I'll switch sides. So then run the feet up the wall, feet are up on the wall, right foot now onto the left knee, and then I'm gonna run my left foot down, and I'll push and pull, hand and knee. Oh, just gonna build a little bit into that hip. Oh yeah, this feels good. Oh, baby. All right, after your 45 seconds of work, we'll move our box out of the way, and then we'll take 15 seconds to rest, and then we're gonna get into our working set. So as we get into our working set today, we're still gonna work 45 seconds to work, 15 seconds to rest. So we're gonna go through 4 rounds total for this training session. First things first, we're gonna grab ourselves a relatively light resistance band. I'm gonna drop the link for the bands that we use here. I'm gonna use the green one. They're just available on Amazon, super cheap. But this is gonna help you kind of get into the movement pattern. So we're gonna wrap that band around some sort of a surface. Now I could have used the edge of the rack. I just elected to use kind of the middle position here on my barbell, just so I could kind of be aware of where I was standing in space. It's a nice marker kind of between both posts, and I'm able to kind of use that as I go through. So I'm gonna get a little bit of tension, and we're gonna work our core stability here. So a little bit of tension on the band. I'm gonna pull it here in towards my chest, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press the band out and away, and then bring it in nice and tight. Press out and away, bring it in nice and tight. What I don't want you to do is I don't want the band to win and let your hips cave here towards your rack or towards your band mounting point. So your hips and core are keeping you straight here. You're building tension here, and we're staying nice and tight as if someone's gonna wind up and punch us in the stomach. And then we're gonna press out and in for the full 45 seconds. Then we're gonna switch sides. So for this, I would flip back around here, and now I'm gonna kind of be even with you. I'm gonna pull, get myself into this nice tight position. Then I'm gonna press out and in, out and in. If you wanna make this more challenging, what you can do, you can grab yourself a small weight. I would not suggest going over 5 pounds, 2.5, 5 pounds is probably about perfect. You run the weight through your band like so, and now the weight's kind of hanging in the middle. I'm gonna again build my tension. So I'm starting here, building tension here, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna still press out and back, and I'm gonna get this weight swinging back and forth, and that's gonna have it so I need to stay really, really stable here in my core and hopefully not hit my elbow with the weight. So you'll push out and back, you'll work for 45 seconds to work, you'll take 15 seconds to rest on both sides, and then we're gonna move into our Copenhagen side planks. Now when we do the Copenhagen side planks, you can use an elevated bench, which I'll show you that version first, or you can also use a Bosu ball, and I'll show you that version next. So if I'm gonna use my side plank surface here, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna plant my right forearm here into the ground, my left foot is on top of a bench, and my right leg is gonna hover. I'm gonna press my body up nice and high, and I'm just gonna be here, and I'm gonna hold for 45 seconds total. Now these are super hard. Be aware that this is gonna fire off your inner thigh, your arm, your core, pretty much everything's gonna be working here. So no shame, and if you end up touching the ground, just get right back into the movement, or I guess lack thereof, and then hold right side, left side. Now if you wanna try this on a Bosu ball, you're gonna build in, move this out of the way, you're gonna build in a little bit more instability in the movement pattern. So you can throw your Bosu ball down like so. And again, I'm gonna plant my left foot and right forearm here. I'm gonna bring myself up, and now I'm just gonna try and balance the whole time for the full 45 seconds of work. So that is another way that you can do this. Bosu ball is probably a little bit more challenging because you have to be able to balance yourself on the ball. So 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest on your bench, elevated surface, Bosu ball, dumbbell, couch, whatever you kind of need to. After that, we're going to get into our RDLs with a single arm weights here. This is why I want you to build a heavier dumbbell into your practice today. We're going to put that dumbbell nice and heavy out by our right foot. I'm going to grab dumbbell with my right hand. My left hand's going to be here to kind of keep my hips honest with my positioning. I'm going to come down, pick my weight up, brace my core, and I'm going to pop up nice and high. And now I'm going to do an RDL, which basically is going to be hips shooting back, weight stays really, really close. And I'm going to come down, I'm going to touch, and then I'm going to explode up, and I'm going to work for all 45 seconds here on the right, and then I'm going to switch. Notice how if I turn to the side, you watch my hip hinge is going back. I've got a slight bend in the knees coming down, and then I'm popping up, and I'm trying to keep my hips really, really square to the front of the room where I'm trying to go. After that, we'll go on the left side, then we'll take our 15 seconds of rest, move into our glute bridge march, which is going to be our last move here today. Unless you're feeling a little spicy, which I was, and I'll talk about the little finisher you can do after each round. Last one's going to be our glute bridge march. If you have your Bossy Ball close, elevated bench close, you can incorporate this as well to plant your feet. I'm going to do that just to show you what I did this morning. You're going to have your butt really, really close to your Bossy Ball or your bench. You can also do these from the ground, so there's no need for an elevated surface here. You're going to lay down onto your back. Your butt is going to come up off the ground nice and high. And then what I'm going to do is hopefully not eat this microphone, as I'm going to bring my opposite hand to opposite leg, and I'm just going to march here nice and slow, firing off of my glutes, staying really, really poised, and then working for the full working set, all 45 seconds of work. You'll take 15 seconds to rest. Now, if you ran through all of those moves and you're like, Blaze, I need more, let me get working. What I did after all of those is I hopped on the Echo bike and I went for 25 calories as fast as I could. You can sub that out. You can do 25 burpees to cap off each round. So you'll do all that working set, 25 burpees or 25 calories on a cardio machine of your choice, and then you get right back to it for 3 more rounds. So that is the full training session for today. Good luck. Let me know how you guys do, and we'll see you in the next one.